Jacob, a Hebrew patriarch, has 12 sons, but loves Joseph, the youngest of them, in a different way. He gives him a colorful tunic none of the other brothers ever received, a gesture that plants a silent rivalry among them. Joseph begins having strange dreams which he dares to tell aloud. In one of them, his brother's bundles of wheat bow down before his own. His brothers hear this as a direct provocation. With every dream Joseph shares, his brother's resentment grows a little more. They begin to avoid him, talk behind his back, and little by little, imagine how to get rid of him forever. Jacob sends Joseph to check on his brothers, who are tending flocks far from home. It is a simple errand that, unknown to anyone yet, will change the course of his entire life. Seeing Joseph approach from a distance, the brothers finally decide to act. Some propose killing him outright, but they end up agreeing on a different plan, getting rid of him without staining their hands with blood. As soon as Joseph arrives, his brothers grab him, strip off his colorful tunic, and throw him into a deep dry pit, completely ignoring his cries demanding an explanation. While Joseph remains trapped in the pit, a caravan of traders passes nearby. The brothers, instead of freeing him, sell him as a slave in exchange for silver coins. To cover up what they did, the brothers soak the colorful tunic in animal blood and bring it to their father, letting him believe a wild beast devoured Joseph. Jacob collapses in grief upon seeing his favorite son's destroyed tunic. For days, he refuses to eat or speak, convinced he has lost Joseph forever. Joseph is taken to Egypt and sold again, this time to Potiphar, a high palace official. Alone, with no family, and in a completely foreign land, Joseph begins a new life as a slave. Over time, Joseph's honesty and ability become evident. Potiphar entrusts him with ever more responsibilities, until he becomes the manager of his entire household. Potiphar's wife repeatedly tries to seduce Joseph, but he refuses every time. Furious at the rejection, she falsely accuses him before her husband, claiming Joseph attempted something improper. With no real chance to defend himself, Joseph is sent to prison. He goes from being a respected administrator to just another prisoner, unjustly locked away in a land he never chose. Inside the prison, Joseph begins interpreting other prisoners' dreams with surprising accuracy, including those of 2 former servants of Pharaoh himself. Years later, Pharaoh of Egypt begins having disturbing dreams none of his wise men can explain: thin cows devouring fat cows, dry stalks of grain devouring full ones. The former servant Joseph helped in prison remembers his gift and mentions him to Pharaoh. Joseph is taken out of prison immediately and brought straight to the royal palace. Before Pharaoh, Joseph interprets the dreams with clarity. 7 years of abundance will be followed by 7 years of devastating famine. He recommends storing grain now to survive what is coming. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom, Pharaoh appoints him governor of all Egypt, second in authority only to himself, tasked with preparing the country for the coming famine. For 7 years, Joseph oversees grain storage throughout the nation. When the famine finally arrives, Egypt is the only place in the region prepared to withstand it. Far away, the famine also strikes the land where Joseph's family lives. Jacob sends his sons to Egypt, the only place rumored to still have grain available. The brothers come before the governor of Egypt to buy grain, with no idea at all that the powerful man before them is the very same Joseph they sold years earlier. Joseph, hiding his identity, tests his brothers in several ways, watching carefully how they behave now, especially toward their youngest brother, Benjamin. Finally, overwhelmed by emotion, Joseph can no longer hold back. He confesses who he really is, leaving his brothers frozen with fear, expecting a revenge that seems inevitable. Instead of revenge, Joseph embraces them one by one, weeping. He tells them that what they planned as evil ended up being used to save the entire family from the famine. Jacob, now elderly, is brought to Egypt along with the entire family. Seeing Joseph after so many years, he weeps with joy, unable to believe the son he thought lost is alive before him. The story of Joseph and his brothers reminds us that even the most painful betrayals can be transformed by a greater purpose. What seemed like a tragedy ended up becoming the means to save an entire family, showing that faithfulness and forgiveness always have the final word.